I'm FroggyAJ, aka Tola Butt Wipe, and I may or may not have ownership over Doodle World as of this video. I don't have much time to talk right now because I'm on my way to court as we speak. I'm being trialed over a crime that's been committed and I'm the only suspect. I swear I'm innocent, but to get out, I need you to believe my story. The trial's starting now. I'll see you soon. Pretty recently, I did an investigation on the creation of Doodle World. After researching the topic in my last video, the crew and I finished up recording sessions for the day. They all went and ate out, but I decided to stay in the office for a while longer. It felt like I was forgetting something. I realized that I was simply forgetting nothing more than an important briefcase full of my video ideas. After obtaining the case, I decided to head out. That's when I ran into the scene. It was a truly horrible sight. As a fellow detective myself, though, I gave myself the responsibility of investigating the scene. A nearby banana indicated that Wish had simply falling to cause something like this to occur. As I was investigating, a thought popped into my head. Wish's injury seemed too brutal to have Doodle World updates stay a priority. Someone needed to take ownership of the game while Wish recovered. So I took the job myself and took ownership of Doodle World. As the new owner of Doodle World, I headed back home and checked for some of the highly requested Doodle World updates from fans. I started to work on my first update as the owner of Doodle World. One update Doodle World has somewhat confirmed our walking animations for Doodles. A tweet by Wish states that this was an upcoming plan for the game but wasn't very high on the priority list of updates. At least not for now. I haven't heard any plans to cancel this idea, but if it eventually made it into the game, it would be a pretty cool quality update. Following up with this idea, something similar to Pokemon Care could also be introduced. Pokemon Care is a mechanic in Pokemon Sun and Moon which allow the player to interact with their party in a number of ways. From feeding your Doodle special snacks or petting your Doodle, to caring for it after battle and helping it recover from any injuries that could have resulted from the battle itself. This would be a fun and unique take on an idea that hasn't been present at all on the Roblox platform. This care mechanic would also allow players to interact more with the Doodles they acquire and build a more fun relationship with the Doodles. Trophies and prizes can also be obtained from caring for your Doodles, albeit not any required to beat the game. This update would also bring in shops throughout the region to purchase snacks for your Doodles. Different snacks can be found in different shops. Some snacks would have some after effects to them, and some could upgrade the Doodle with temporary battle stat upgrades, while others can simply raise the friendship with the Doodle. Another update that absolutely needs to make its way into the game would be a battle UI overhaul. I get that the game is trying to go for a similar aesthetic to Project Pokemon, but Project Pokemon is a game that is over a decade old. These menus straight up just don't look very appealing. As Project Pokemon got older and newer games like Brick Bronze came to the platform, the newer games had much more appealing and immersive menus. It doesn't make much sense for Doodle World to carry over some of these old and outdated menus. Something needs to change. I think a good direction to go with the menu would be to fully embrace the Doodle aesthetic. I love the new circle menu that Doodle World introduced. It's amazing. One thing I don't love is the party menu. The background is a dark blue color while backdrops to Doodles is a more black color. These black boxes that contain the Doodle also contain a lot of important information. These boxes contain the HP, XP, gender, name, and portrait of the Doodle. It's important to create a redesign that simplifies these stats to create a less cluttered menu. HP and XP take up most of the box while the name and gender can be found at the top. The Doodle portrait is tucked away in a smaller white box as well, which doesn't really make sense since it's practically the main attraction. Here I drew up a quick mock-up of a design I think would fit a bit better. I'm no graphic designer, so this is just a mock-up design and is not meant to look like the final product. In this picture, the Doodle isn't contained in any box. The Doodle should be shown off since it's a huge part of the game. The name and level are still displayed on the top of the box, but you may notice the gender is gone. Instead of being displayed through a symbol, the gender is displayed through the color of a background box. HP and XP now have a gradient to them for extra style, and friendship from the care mechanic is now displayed here as well. Here's what it would look like with a full party. Of course, through an actual playthrough, the Doodle shown will be more diverse, as well as stats like HP, XP, friendship, nicknames, and levels. Previous text that would state which Doodle you have selected is now removed. Upon clicking on a Doodle, there will no longer be a button confirmation. Instead, it will immediately present the player with the stats screen. Previous buttons would ask whether you wanted to see the stats, switch it with another Doodle, or cancel the decision. Now that simply clicking the Doodle will load up its stats, clicking and dragging the Doodle will allow the player to switch it with another. A canvas button on the bottom left is also present, which allows the player to change the background color to their liking. This would most likely be a game pass that would realistically cost around 99 Robux. Last but not least about this menu is that there will now be text featured above. This text states that this is the party. This is close to what the new menu would look like. There's not much I'd really change about Doodle World besides some quality of life updates and minor tweaks to make the game look a bit more polished. But this one is a big thing that should be considered when it comes to updating. I'm talking about the battle screen. I don't know if there's an explicit reason to why Wish kept the small small box that we battle in from Project Pokemon. I think it looks really bad and just doesn't make much sense. The easy way to fix this would be to simply zoom it out, but I'm no developer, so I don't know if it's like this for scripting purposes or simply changing it would break a script or something. In our dreamland, however, we can do anything. So what I would do is zoom the screen out to be full screen. Also, I could dive into redesigns for the UI here as well, but I think I'll save that for another video. Anyways, this was just something that kind of irked me since I don't know why it's here, and I think it deserves to be fixed. The last update I got would be some map redesigns. I know Wish didn't have the best experience when it came to creating the map for Doodle World. I talked more in depth about that in my last video, go check it out if you haven't already. But I still think that some changes need to be made, specifically in these areas. One area that needs a redesign is the interior to houses. The models used in some of the buildings' interiors have a very weird, low poly but cartoonish art style. That sounds like it would be a great fit for a game like Doodle World, but it just ends up looking like something straight out of Hello Neighbor, and it doesn't fit the rest of the game's aesthetic. I don't know if I'll find the exact house I'm thinking of while editing, but I remember seeing a couch inside of a house on my first playthrough of Doodle World, and I really didn't like the plastic candy looking smooth-edged couch that was inside. If you've been on the channel for a while, you'll know that I absolutely love the route and town designs for Doodle World, and I think they're some of the best I've ever seen. One in particular that I love is Graphite Forest. This route perfectly captures the feeling of going out on an adventure with your doodles. It allows for free exploration, even rewarding the player for doing so. Multiple gates to different routes can be found in Graphite Forest, and it kinda acts like a middle zone for traveling tamers. Various obstacles can be found here as well as some new doodles. Climbing the huge mountain also grants the player with an amazing view of the massive route. If I had to change something about the early game routes, I would definitely change them up to be close to the same vibe as Graphite Forest. Giving off this sense of exploration and freedom would be a great way to keep players hooked while keeping the game from feeling like, well, an old video game. When I started playing Doodle World, I actually found it kind of hard to keep playing. The route design played a major role in this. It felt like I was going down a linear path with trainers placed around the map just to kill the pace at which I walked. This is not something you want your players to feel in your game ever. The game's supposed to encourage exploration around the mysterious island while battling the companies alongside it. This level design is exactly what Graphite Forest has and is the reason I love it so much. Of course, I never hated Doodle World, but the aesthetic did take a while to grow on me, and these changes can help fix that. One thing I would not change at all, however, is the story writing. The comedic scenes actually had me laughing, and the characters fit perfectly into their personalities. The characters and world building and the story kept me hooked the whole way through, and made me truly feel immersed into the game. Doodle World has no shame in acknowledging its flaws through its characters, as well as questioning the odd reality of doodles and tamers just leaving home with no protection. One thing that had me excited the whole way through was actually waiting for the next time I got to see TJ. I'm not even joking. TJ is unpredictable with what he says, and you never know what could come out of a conversation with him. It's also a hilarious running joke in the game that TJ's always getting the short end of the stick. This natural flow of progression is gold tier, and I would rate it 15 out of 10. Anyways, those were the changes that I'd make if I were the owner of Doodle World. The game is pretty much already perfect besides some minor tweaks that I'd make here and there. All I'm trying to say is that I didn't cause any crimes, and I'm just a fan of the game and want to see it at its best.
Okay, I believe you.
What?
I said I believe you. You can go. You're free. Bye.
What was the whole point of this if you're just gonna let me go?
I'm just trying to rack up as much update ideas as possible. I actually work for Doodle World. I thought I struck gold with you, but your ideas suck and the way you'd implement them is trash. So I'm letting you go.
Anyways guys, those were the updates that I'd add to Doodle World if I were the new owner. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, please subscribe to the channel and like the video to show your support. Alright, I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.